This lesson is on debugging techniques. Debugging just means troubleshooting, looking for errors in your PHP code, finding them, and correcting them. So here we have a form like we've seen in the past. Let's go ahead and enter some data. First name, last name, and my fake age. I'm going to submit the form. Uh-oh, not found. Everybody's gotten a not found error. But this time, the code that I wrote caused it. So what does it say? It's looking for the requested URL 031 Debugging Techniques PHP. Wasn't found on the server. Let's go look at the code. This error is actually in the HTML file. We never got to the PHP because we didn't specify the right program to call. I have 0301, but what I really meant was 0310 debugging techniques. So let me go ahead, save that, and I'll go back and rerun the form. I'll just hit the back button here, and the data's still here. I'm going to go ahead and refresh it to make sure I get the current changes. So I hit refresh it. It looks like the data stayed there. Let me try the submit button. I got an error. But I didn't get the error that we had before. This time, it tried to call the program that I wanted it to call. But what does it say? It says parse error. Get used to seeing that. Parse error is just about any syntax error you can make in PHP. Any kind of typo almost always is going to bring something called a parse error. And so, unexpected t variable. Don't worry about it. It just means there's a mistake somewhere. It doesn't understand. So let's go. It's pointing me to the code 310 debuggingtechniques.php on line 20. Let's go look, see what it says. So this is still the HTML, so let's go to the PHP file and line 20. So it says line 20, full name, first name, middle nit, last name. Okay, there might be an error there, but I don't think this is the problem in this case. Let's go back and look at the error message. Unexpected t variable. Now, one of the things with debugging is the error can be on the very line that it points you to, line 20, but very often the culprit is one line above where it points. Let's go look again. The thing that I see here, and this is a very common error and why I'm pointing it out now, is to forget to put a semicolon at the end of your line. That's required on most PHP lines. Any PHP statement needs that. This middle initial with the Q period, I took off the semicolon to make this be an error. So let's put the semicolon back on there, save the file, and now I'm going to go back to the form on the web page. I'll back up, refresh just to be safe, submit the information. Uh-oh, we've got more errors. What does this say? This one says undefined variable on line 20. And it also says undefined variable on line 20. Two undefined variables? Could be. Let's go take a look. Well, we've got the semicolon here. This isn't an undefined variable, so let's see on the line itself. $first name. Okay. And what did we bring back from the post statement? We brought first name back into $first name. Seems right, doesn't it? Not quite. I made a subtle little change here from what I'd used in the past. I changed the N in first name, in the $first name variable, to be capital. It's a very common technique to label the first word in a variable name starting with a lowercase character, and then the second full word in a variable to start with an uppercase character. First name, that's a little bit debatable. Is that one word or two? Well, this time I chose to make it two, and I made a capital N there, and I made a capital N with last name. And if we look at the statement, I have the lowercase n still here, and the lowercase n still here. So these are probably the two errors that it's complaining about. Let me go ahead and correct one. I'm going to save it. I used Control S to save it. Back to the form. I'm going to back up, refresh, submit. This time, fortunately, there is just one error, not two. So apparently it understood that there were two variables in error. That's not always going to be the case. Sometimes PHP will find an error and then just stop there and tell you about that error, and it won't detect an error a little bit later in the process. You'll fix the first error, and you'll find out, oh, I have another error that I didn't see before. Don't worry about that. That's normal. Debugging is just a process of going through, correcting errors one at a time, trying to get your program to work until the errors are gone. Let's go back to the code. I'm going to correct this last name. Put the capital N there as well. I'm going to save it and then go back to the form. Backspace, refresh, submit. Okay, we've got what we were expecting. I want to show you one more thing in the code. It's very, very hard for the human brain to see the difference between first name with a capital N and first name without the capital N, the way I had it before. It's very important to try to have a naming convention that you follow. Don't use capitalization to make a difference between the variable names because your eyes won't detect it. As we go along through the programs, as we get more complex here, I'm going to show you better and better ways to hone down where your errors are, to help you see what the computer's seeing. But give yourself half a chance and follow strict naming conventions like the one I mentioned. Lowercase letter in the first word of a variable name. You'll notice here in $age, it's just one word, so lowercase. $last name, you can consider that two words and make it N. Now last name, like I said earlier, is a bit of a tricky one. Some people might say that's one word instead of two words. So it's the kind of name where you could make this sort of mistake. You've got to get used to looking for it. PHP is case sensitive in its variable names, and this is the kind of thing that will trip you up. So it should be one of the first things you think of when you get an error like this, to make sure not only is the spelling correct, but is the case sensitivity the same. This concludes our first lesson on debugging.